John and Mike, brew-dudes.com. Today we're talking about our plan for a community brew. Now, our subscribers to the beer list, and these are people who have emailed us about doing beer swaps in the future. I've put together a little email list and I've sent out some emails. Last month, was it last month? Yeah, it was last month. I sent out an email talking about this idea of doing a community brew where we come up with the recipe, and if you want to participate, you brew it on your own equipment, and then you get a chance to swap with a whole bunch of people who did the exact same thing off of their home equipment. We are planning to do this community brew in a few weeks. May 7th, that's a Sunday. That also happens to be National Homebrew Day, because that seemed to be appropriate.
Sounds good.
The brew that we are planning for you to help us out with is just a simple recipe. We thought about this. It's not really that exciting, but from an economical standpoint, we think this makes sense, and also gives some leeway about making it your own. But we are doing a Brew Dudes Best Bitter, an English ale. A very simple recipe, and I'll let Mike talk more about what that recipe is all about.
Because I love bitters.
You love English ales.
One of these styles I've done my whole brewing career. I always gravitate back to them. So we decided on a very simple best bitter because they're easy drinking. It's the right time of year for that, at least here in the States. So we're looking at a simple 95% Maris Otter grain bill and like 5% English Crystal Malt, Crystal 60. Okay?
Yep.
Because that's right in the middle of the road. It's a good balance. And so what that really sort of translates to in a 5-gallon batch is like 9 pounds of Maris Otter and half a pound of Crystal Malt. You know, you can bump that one way or another a little bit, but that's the basics.
Yep.
So hops, we're looking at some English hops. I mean, I really prefer, and we really wrote up the recipe to focus on East Kent Goldings hops. So we're going to do like a 60-minute edition, a 15-minute edition, a 0-minute edition. And they're not huge editions, just 1 1/4 ounce at the front end at 60 minutes, and then half an ounce at 15 minutes, and half an ounce at 0 minutes. It's really pretty simple. It's classic English pale ale. And then the yeast strains, you know, we've got a lot of, we're going to go English yeast, obviously, but there's a lot of choices. And I think to make it interesting, based on what you can get your hands on, or what you like, or what your preferences are, you know, we're suggesting things like White Labs 005, the British strain, or the 013, the London strain. And there's Wyeast equivalents. London ESB 1968 is super popular and makes a great English pale ale. 1028 London Ale, very similar to the 013. And then Fermentis Safale SO4, which is an old standby of mine. It always does really well. So if you can't do liquid yeast, or you don't want to deal with liquid yeast, SO4 is a great choice. Basic mash, single infusion, 150 degrees, 60-minute mash. We're going to ferment for 2 weeks, or however long it takes you at 68 degrees, or whatever temp you can maintain. Then we're going to bottle them up, keg or bottle them up, and then at some point you're going to have to put it in bottles if you want to participate in the swap, but that's coming up. And so the predicted beer is 1045 OG with a 1010 finishing gravity, 33 IBUs.
Yep.
So really simple, really basic beer.
And if you weren't writing all that down while he was talking, we're going to post it in the comments below. And we'll also put it on our blog too, so you'll have the exact recipe that we're working off of. So to me, I'm actually interested in doing this because when I was in London and drinking in pubs, they had pale ales on tap there in gravity taps, and there's a certain minerally taste that those beers have that I have never been able to replicate. And I think through better water chemistry, as they say, that's my plan, to try to imitate the flavor profile from those English ales. So that is why I'm going to do what I'm going to do for this recipe. And it's really going to be taking some distilled water and really trying to figure out that English water profile that makes those beers taste the way they do. So that's my plan. I haven't figured out yeast yet, but certainly going to stick with the grain bill and do my best to find East Kent Goldings hops if I can.
So to make it interesting, I'm going to sort of emulate what John's going to do, and I'm either going to mix up the yeast strain, or I'm going to mix up the water chemistry, depending on what John really settles on, so that our two beers will represent similar approaches but slightly different for comparison's sake.
That's right. And also, this is an all-grain recipe, so if you're still an extract brewer, contact us. You want to participate?
Piece of cake.
We'll come up with the extract version of
We
this
have the
recipe.
technology.
We can do that. But that's it. Now, I think that we're going to have to coordinate through email and try to figure out how we best do an equal swap. We'll probably put our beers into the mix, probably not be able to ship to everybody, especially if we get a lot of participants. But the thought is that if you are able to ship 2 beers, you'll get 2 beers shipped to you. And we're going to have to take a look at, proximity and try to do our best so people aren't paying through the nose to actually get their beers. So if there's a guy, for instance, in Australia who's brewing, I'm not going to force him to ship to the States if there's somebody in Australia as well.
Or at least not without asking first.
That's true. We'll figure that
So
out.
we'll try to coordinate. The plan here is, depending on how many participants we get, is that everybody will ship 2 beers to 2 people so that you will receive 2 beers in exchange. John and I will put our 2 beers into the circle as well, but somewhere we'll put our 2 beers together, so it'll be like a bonus, just so that those 2 beers as a comparator,
Side
as
by
we
side.
discussed, can go in there too.
Yeah.
And depending on how many participants we'll get, we might modify how that works.
Yep.
Or if people have better suggestions on how to
We're all ears.
do a big circle swap like this
Yeah.
internationally, then let us know, and we'll take that under advisement.
You're not going to give any kind of credit like they might actually have a better idea.
Not yet.
We'll see what we get. Okay, so that's a community brew. Did we hit all the points? We hit all the points?
We hit all the points.
Okay, hopefully you're into it. We'd like to share our beers with some people, and really like to see if, especially if you're trying to play around with water chemistry, this would be a great time to do it. May 7th. So if you're watching this video and it's 2017 and it's before May 7th, you still have a chance to become part of this community brew and really take part in something interesting and share your beer with somebody who you've probably never met before.
So Brew Date is May 7th. That would hopefully sort of get you into the ballpark of being able to ship early June.
Yes, we'll be in communication after the community. We might actually.
Maybe we'll do another video.
We will. I was thinking we stream live on May 7th.
Yes.
We'll do a brew day here, and then if you want to watch along or whatever.
So if you want to participate, you got to email us.
Yes.
Drop a comment, but the best thing, we're going to email us.
Yes.
At
dudes@brew-dudes.com. So,
okay.
And we can put it up
And
here.
we'll put it. It'll be in
Put it up here.
the description section of the video.
You betcha.
YouTube's.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's what I got. Okay.
Sounds great.
Thanks.
I'm gonna have to brew.
You're going to have to brew.
I'm gonna have to brew.
That's right. So for Dynamite, brew-dudes.com, community brew on.
Cheers.
Cheers.